Well, hello to all my ghouls, gays, and theys. My name is EJ Marino, and we have a new Dragula review. Oh boy, we're going to be talking about the Monsters of Rock episode. Oh my goodness, we are talking about the latest episode of Dragula. This is going to be a fun review. Oh boy, let's get into it right now. As you can see by my intro, this was not my favorite episode of Dragula. This felt most like the other competition reality drag show. I just felt, okay, usually the Boulets never structure episodes around drama. It either naturally happens or it's just there because it's a bunch of queer people in a room yelling at each other. I understand that this is needed and this is real and not everyone's going to be hunky-dory, happily get along, but it felt like the episode was just structured around the drama, around the Mary, the Zavalettas, the Jades, the Bitter Bettys. Everyone got into it this episode and it just distracted. Like, I felt bad for the winning team because I almost saw none of them. I was just like, yay, I love Dolly got their win, but like, I didn't get to see any of their performance or any of them getting ready because we just had to focus on people like Sigourney getting into it with Mary and Zavaletta speaking up and Jade and all this. And I was just like, are we really wasting a whole episode on drama? Like, I honestly don't even want to get into. I wasn't even going to review this. I got back from my trip. Sorry for the delay, by the way. I just, was in LA doing a premiere, blah, blah, blah. So I was just like, oh my goodness, I cannot wait to get back and watch Dragula. Yo, what is this? Oh my goodness, it was just a frustrating episode. I really liked the inclusion of Poppy. I thought like her song was really fun. I thought the outfits for the stage show were really good, but I just wasn't in love with this episode. Truly, if I could have just skipped this week of Dragula, I could have, and I might not even end up really talking about this that much because this episode frustrated me. I was genuinely not into it, and I just know that this is going to turn the fan base against people like Mary, and there's some hate against Zavaletta, and there's some hate against Sigourney, and there's like so much accusations of racism and misogyny going around from the queen, like the monsters to the fan base, and I'm just like, this is what I don't ever have this in Dragula, so maybe that's what's throwing me off the most, where I'm just like, we don't play this game here. This felt so RuPaul's Drag Race. I usually never mention it. This felt like a straight up RuPaul-ass episode. From the way the drama was structured to putting the drama over the actual challenge, I was just like, oh my goodness, like when the like boudoir untuckedy kind of thing at the end of the episode has the most action, the most tension, that's when you know your episode's messed up. Dragula has never done this for me. Unless I am missing a straight up episode, there's always been bitchy moments. There's always been people clapping back at each other. It's always been here. But for me, this episode was structured in such a frustrating way that let's just get into the episode so I can just get this over with and we can move on. Hopefully next week will be better because this week was a bit of a mess. I was gonna like dive into like, well, the monsters get into the boudoir, but straight up, I don't want to be into this episode longer than I need to be. Sorry y'all to see me so frustrated, but this is why I legit quit Drag Race because I just couldn't deal with it. So the monsters have to separate into teams. There is a big rock challenge. The winners get to be featured on Heavy Metal Magazine, which I think is a great win. I really like that the Boulets are actually like branding themselves out to really alternative sources, and that's really allowing the monsters to have a place in the world. So during this rock challenge, they have to perform a song by Poppy, which I actually enjoy the song. Not it wasn't my favorite, but again, the way it was edited and stuff between the two teams, I would actually like to just watch a straight up video. Kind of wish they would have done that. I know that is a bit the way they do it on Drag Race, where we see one musical number and then we see one. The way they mixed it in here was a bit frustrating. So here are the teams. We have Hoso, Dolly, Saint, and Zavaletta. On the other team, we have Bitter Betty, Mary Cherry, we have Sigourney Beaver, and J. Jolie. In reality, I thought these two teams were very strong. There was a little bit on both, but the moment the other team gets together, the moment that the Sigourney, Mary Cherry team get together, Sigourney and Mary are going at it. There seems to be something that these two just personally don't get along, which again, not everyone has to get along. Not everything's going to be hunky-dory, best friends, like let's go to summer camp together. I understand fully, and I'm not saying that they needed to, but the way that this drama was, I really wish a producer would have, like, got involved with this, like, just been straight up like, yo, what are y'all doing? Do we need to, like, switch up teams? I know they need drama and tension for a television show, but you don't. Like, I'm sorry, the rest of these 4 episodes before this one or whatever it's been have been perfectly structured, well, like, balanced between, yes, we have opinions, yes, we have things to do. Like, I feel bad for the people who were on set that day dealing with that. Like, you see Jade have to kind of just, like, not speak up, but then speak up, and then you see, like, Betty just try to, like, take control as well. All of them are really trying to figure out who, like, Sigourney's just like, I'm the lead singer, so I'm the leader. That takes Mary forever to realize that. We cut to the other team, and it's just like, well, let's not show them because they're getting along. Like, Dolly, and they're all like, yeah, we're performing, and Dolly's just like, I'm gonna win this challenge. And I'm like, yeah, you should, and you will. And that's what I'm just like, for Dolly to get this win, for this to be Dolly's winning episode, I'm just like, you lost out on a lot of what you should have got. Like, you should have been the main focus, but like, Sigourney was the main focus, Mary was the main focus. I am just, oh my goodness. So we get to the number, and it seems to be a bit messy. Like, even the Boulets called this out of like, this was not our favorite of these Monsters of Rock challenges, because it's like, yeah, like, look at this one team had this issues, even the other team had that issues. There just seems to be a messy structure in this episode, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know what was up with this one. Like, was there something in the water this evening? Like, did Poppy or Rachel True, like, throw off the cosmic energy as guest judges? Because, like, truly, what was happening? It just seemed like this was a letdown. Usually, like, I think back to when Bitch Pudding was in the Rock Challenge. That was a turning point, a defining moment. I don't think Dolly got that turning, defining moment, even with their win. Their team did okay. I like the floor looks. I don't even really remember the looks. I remember Sigourney's amazing kiss look. I remember Dolly having another look that seemed to be in the same vein as their other looks. I was like, here, consuming some stuff. I thought Betty looked okay. I thought Mary looked a mess. I loved Saint. Saint's outfit was really good. Saint's aesthetic is one of my favorites. I think if I had to look like somebody on the show, I would pick Saint. We also have Zavaleta here. Zavaleta did very good. I would say Zavaleta was like my second in the episode. Seemed to be some messes as well. I don't know. This episode was structured so well. So not well. This was a mess. I am flustered. Let's just get out of this review and let's get into something different. Oh my goodness. So when the monsters go into the back, they are letting loose. Like, it's crazy to see Jade finally speak up, but like, they called it out, like, Jade, this was a moment you need to start doing something. And the judges are like, what's wrong? Like, who are you? Because you're not belonging here. And I'm just like, I hate to admit it, I liked Jade when the season started, but I'm like, for real, Jade, you need to speak up. And Jade starts speaking up in the back, defending Sigourney, getting into it with Mary, then Zavaleta's there, and then Betty's there. It's just like, everyone's bickering, and I just felt bad for Dolly of like, this was supposed to be their episode. Everyone gets an episode. Everyone has their moment to shine, and it wasn't allowed to be, like, able to shine. And then people like Saint and Hoso, I was just like, were you even in this episode? Like, I feel bad that you guys got lost into the shuffle, into the madness. It just wasn't really fair to everyone. But for someone who likes drama, if y'all are into this, you were fed well because people were going at it. Like, Mary is an interesting character. There's times where I definitely don't agree with Mary, but there's times where I'm like, I can see where you're coming from. But here I was just like, Mary, you just seem to be going in on Sigourney. There just seems to be a beef there. I don't think it's misogyny. I just don't think they get along. And again, if you don't like somebody, it doesn't mean it's for X, Y, and Z reason. We need to talk about that as well in fandoms and in culture. Like, let's say for RuPaul's Drag Race, I did not like Candy Ho, and they're like, you don't like her because she's a thicker Latina. And I'm like, I'm a fat Latino myself. Like, what are y'all talking about? What's not clicking again? That's what I felt here, was just like, there were so many like extra emotions that people were like, well, it has to be for misogyny. It has to be for this. And I'm like, that's not what everything is about, y'all. Stop getting into that. Sometimes people just don't like each other. And again, that is kind of my feelings of this. Mary she's not supposed to just like everyone. Like, Sigourney's not supposed to like everyone. Jade doesn't have to be the biggest outlandish personality and get along with everyone, but it needs to be a bit more mature and more professional. This was a very unprofessional episode of television. I think even presenting it the way it was felt like, ugh. Anyways, we get to the extermination, and at least it's better than a bull riding one. They were in this shock chamber, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, I really liked this extermination. I thought it was somehow edited and portrayed very scary and very violent. It was a bit overwhelming, but I was just like thrilled. I didn't know who was going to like stay or go. I thought that was very interesting as well. Usually during the exterminations, it's pretty obvious, but this one I was just like, I don't know, like they've constantly yelled at Jade, but Mary seems to be in the bottom consistently. Like, what is going on here? It does turn out that Mary is the one who went home, which I'm upset about. I thought Mary added something to it. We did lose another, like, a black girl, and I'm like, that sucks. Like, I was really, like, happy to see so much representation. We still have Latinos, we still have Asian people. Like, there's still representation on the show. It just sucks to lose another black girl, and Saint's just like, I just sent home one of my girls with Coco, and now this, like, oh my goodness. I'm happy Saint's still here. I'm happy everyone's here. Who is left? These are strong monsters. I want all of them to have a chance. I think Hoso is great. Zavaleta is, like, gearing up for the win. I think Dolly is also gearing up for the win. I love Sigourney. Sometimes Sigourney need to be a little bit more elevated, but I like the monsters that are here. I liked Mary as well. It just was frustrating that this episode was so frustrating to watch. I hope I'm not the only one. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Like, am I the only one who was bitter about this episode? I know I'm not Bitter Betty, but I felt bitter about this. Alright everyone, that is it for my review of Dragula. Sorry I wasn't so fun. Oh my god, this is the best episode I've ever seen. This just wasn't for me. I'm excited for the next episode so we can move past this. I hope if the rest of the season is drama-filled, I'm just going to get through this. I won't be as frustrated as I am today. I'm just jet-lagged. I had to watch this episode, and it let me down. But what do you guys think? Are you into this episode? This is the only episode of the season I have disliked this much, so for the track record, that's not that bad. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments below. Subscribe to my channel, and give me a thumbs up if you did enjoy. Alright, everyone, let's talk about Dragula and drag drama down below.